Hi, I'm Christy, and today I'm here with Tracy, who just finished her freshman year at Stanford and is excited to talk to us today. So, Tracy, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. I'm a rising sophomore in Stanford University, majoring in computer science, and I'm from China. So as an international student and Stanford, I feel like I really like this very welcoming environment here, and I really know a lot um, here, and there are a lot of research opportunities as well.
What was your schooling like in China?
So I think for the primary school, we have 6 years and we just learn how to read, write in Chinese. And for the middle school, we learn some more advanced classes such as math, physics, and biology. Um, and that is 3 years. And then we go to senior high, which is another 3 years. This is pretty different from the American high school, which is 4 years. So we learn like more difficult stuff. Yeah, I think that's the basic education system in China, and yeah, and it's more like restricted than American education systems because we don't have the chance to choose classes. Everyone just get assigned to the classes you have to go, and yeah.
Cool. What is your favorite subject and why do you like it?
Um, Currently, my favorite subject is definitely computer science because I find this subject is really useful. You can apply it to a lot of disciplines like political science, psychology, and all other stuff. And you can do data analysis by just coding, and you can then um, understand a question in a more interdisciplinary and deep way.
Sure. What do you want to do when you graduate?
I think I'm currently considering pursuing a PhD degree because I really enjoy doing research. I'm currently doing summer research on campus, and I feel like I really enjoy the process and makes me feel like I don't only like learn the knowledge but also create knowledge. Yeah.
How and when did you first get interested in STEM and in particular computer science?
That's a good question. So, I think I have a very strong interest in STEM field, like from very young age, because I just so obsessed with all those numbers and very clear logic. However, for computer science, I actually studied it at Stanford. I really like the introductory class in Stanford here called programming methodology. And after taking that class, I just feel like, oh no, I should take more CS classes. It's so mind blowing, and I really like find the powerfulness of the computer science. Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about Stanford?
Um, so I think besides the world class professors and very smart classmates, I think one thing is that the research opportunities here are really like a lot. You can just reach out to people and people are really nice and they will reply your emails and say, okay, come to my lab and we could work on the project, and they are really like welcoming and you can learn a lot from working with them.
Have you become interested in more or different subjects since you started college?
I think I've become more interested in garden design, which is a pretty interesting subject. And actually, it's not a subject, it could be divided into civil engineering. So last quarter, I took a Japanese garden design class, and we had 2 field trips to visit the local Japanese gardens in the close to campus. So I just felt so inspired by all those religious meanings and all those like aesthetic ideas behind those designs, I feel like, oh, probably I should like considering learning more about civil engineering. Yeah.
Do you think growing up in another country has influenced how you learn?
Um, Yeah, kind of. So, since I think the Chinese education systems are more organized, I mean, like you don't need to choose. So it's really organized and you don't need to think, oh, what's the next step or what's the next direction. I feel like by learning in this kind of education system, I feel I personally are more self-disciplined and more likely to organize my stuff and my schedule in a very uh, good way, I think. But also, like language barrier is also a kind of thing that I have to overcome once I came to Stanford. But I think I improved a lot after a whole year, and I feel so glad and I feel proud of myself. Yeah.
What are you doing this summer?
Uh, so I'm doing political science summer research, basically like data analysis in R and data those data analysis softwares. So I haven't really know how to use R before the research starts, but I really enjoy the process of learning all those data analysis softwares and also think more about how those data can be applied to actually develop an argument. Yeah.
Do you have a project that you could show us that you've been working on?
Oh yeah, sure. Let me find it here. So, here. Yeah. So this is the screenshot of my R project. So I mainly try to analyze all the collected policy data and then do some code to draw the graphs and then show the trend and all those regression lines.
What piece of advice would you give to yourself at either age 10 or age 12?
I hope I could start to learn computer science at that early because that's a really useful technique. You really need to do that. And also, I recommend young kids to read more books, like in all different disciplines, like philosophy, literature, and poems. So even though you should start like focusing on computer science from a young age, but you should also like broaden your horizon by reading all kinds of books. Yeah.
I agree with that. What do you wish you had known before starting college?
Um, Actually, not really, because I felt I adapt to the college life pretty quickly and early. Um, yeah, I think it's kind of the same working spirit in high school. So I just work very hard to do all my things and get stuff done. And yeah.
Okay, so now we have some speed questions. So they're very short. You can just give one word answers. You don't have to elaborate on
Okay.
the
One
why.
word. Okay, sure.
Yeah. So what is your favorite hobby?
Right now is hiking. Yes.
Favorite book?
Let me see. Brief history of time.
Favorite movie?
La la la. I can't really remember what is my favorite movie, but the most recent movie that I watched is Spider-Man. Yeah.
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Let me see. That's a good question. How about North Pole or South Pole?
Favorite food?
Definitely Chinese food.
Uh, Movie or lunch with friends?
Not with friends like you.
Okay, thanks for talking with us today.